as soon as Scott quits talking to Steve, we will have Commissioner Hatfield say the invocation. So you're ready, Commissioner. Can you hear me, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay, we're
Our
ready.
Father in heaven, we're grateful for this day and for the many blessings that are ours. Father, we're grateful for this last weekend to be able to celebrate the founding of our country and the principles that it's founded on, and grateful for the privileges that we have in living in this country and the sacrifices that have been made in our behalf. Father, please bless us that we might be able to not take for granted those sacrifices, that we will live and remember those who have gone before us, and also be mindful of those who protect us today, here locally and abroad. Please bless us today with the agenda items that we might be able to do those things which would be best for the county and best for the citizens as we move forward. Grateful for all our staff and elected officials and directors in the county and all the hard work that they do. Grateful for them. We say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. And then our Pledge of Allegiance will be given to us by Sheriff Potter.
The audience, please rise, put your hand over your heart, and repeat after me. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks for that, you guys. First of all, I'd like to excuse Commissioner Scott. He is on a family vacation, and Commissioner Hadfield is not feeling very good, so he's pitch hitting from the phone. So we appreciate everybody that was able to come today and help with this. So, Hadfield, have you had a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes, I looked over the minutes. I would make a motion we approve the minutes from June 16th, 2021.
And I'll second that motion. I have a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Administrative review reports, future agenda items. I know Steve Hatfield has some future agenda items or former agenda items on it. Do you want to do that now, and then I'll?
We can do that now, or we can do it later in the agenda. If you
No,
want
let's do it now.
Let's do
Yeah.
it now. Okay, what this is we have a victim advocate grant that we need to move to a report on twice a year. It should have been done last month, but we didn't get it
You need to
done.
move that up. I don't think anybody can hear you. Sorry.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Should have been done last month, but because of the change in that position at our office, it didn't get done, so we'd like to do it today. We've got Cheryl over here that, if she wants to come forward and do that for us. Cheryl Bergen is the new victim advocate supervisor. We're glad to have her at the office. She does a great job on her second day. So
Nothing
I'll
like being thrown into the fire. I couldn't even
Yes.
get Annie to come up here and talk to us. If you want to sit down and give us a quick update on that, that'd be great.
Sure.
You're going to have to pull that microphone right up to you.
Right up to me. Okay. Yeah, it's been a fun 2 days.
And then tell us who you are, where you work for. Okay?
It's all good. So as he stated, one of our requirements for our grant is that we come to these meetings and let you know the services that we're able to do in our office. It is important to know and be aware of some of the serious crimes that are happening in our county. These numbers are sobering when one considers that these numbers only represent the victims. For every victim, there are countless family members and friends who are affected by these crimes. Since January of this year, our office has served 728 victims.
Wow.
Of those victims, 223 were affected by multiple crime categories. Of those 728 victims, there were 228 victims of identity theft, fraud, or other financial crimes. And this is the one that kind of took me back, but 193 victims of domestic violence, 147 victims of adult physical assault, 31 victims of adult sexual assault, 57 victims of child physical abuse, 86 victims of child sexual abuse, 55 victims of burglary, 13 victims of kidnapping. We also serve victims of arson, bullying, driving under the influence, elder abuse, kidnapping, other vehicular victimizations, robbery, stalking, family members of homicide victims, and other crimes. Our Victim Services Department has provided a total of 6,441 services since January of this year. Criminal justice advocacy is a broad term to describe several things that we do on a daily basis, including accompanying victims to court, notifying victims of court hearings, providing explanations of criminal justice process, and providing information on victims' rights. We assist victims in completing victim impact statements and calculating restitution amounts. We collaborate with community and state agencies. We offer referrals and resources to ensure our victims have access to the help and support they need to feel safe before leaving our office or hanging up on the phone. Last year, the state legislature put a stop of certain cases being investigated by DCFS. At that time, 2 of our advocates were trained to be forensic interviewers to fill in the gap on those cases. Since January, they have conducted 13 of those forensic interviews with child victims. The state legislature has now reversed that policy, and those cases are now again being investigated by DCFS. However, the victim advocates will continue to conduct interviews on certain cases. Today is only my second day. But before this, I was at DCFS for 14 years and conducted child abuse and neglect investigations. So as I looked at these numbers served by our victim advocates, I unfortunately wasn't too surprised, but it was sobering. As a resident of this county, I'm grateful for the services that have been provided to these victims and their loved ones. I'm glad to be joining in their efforts. I appreciate your time and support of our efforts to bring awareness of the issues that affecting not just our county, but those that are affecting our neighbors and our family and our friends. So thank you.
Well, we appreciate the support. I know this is one of the things that we just don't really understand or realize behind the scenes because we don't see a lot of it because it's so, I wouldn't say secretive, but you have to keep it confidential. So those of you that are involved, we just had some of the officers come in and we appreciate their work on these things. And I don't know how you don't take it home because these, like you said, they're sobering, and these statistics, you know, in Box Elder County, little old Box Elder County, Mayberry RFD, it's just hard to believe that we have those kind of problems here. So.
And I'm okay, and I'm glad that it's surprising to you.
Well,
I'm glad that it's, I think for those of us that have worked with it, for us it's not surprising because we see it all the time, but I'm glad that a lot of people don't know.
yeah, and it's your second day, and hopefully you can retire here
Oh, sure.
45, 50 years from now.
That's all.
Steve, have you got anything else to add?
No, I appreciate Cheryl. We're glad to have her. We threw her right into the fire, but we knew she could handle it, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Commissioner Hadfield, have you got any other thing to say? Anything?
No, I just thank her for the information and appreciate the hard work of all those guys.
Okay, I had the opportunity to be called to a committee this last week. It's a multi-faith committee, and it's a National Day of Service that'll be held on September 11th of this year. You'll be getting more information out. You'll be seeing it out on flyers and Facebook and things like that. But they're basically trying to get a bunch of people together to go do good things for each other, which I think is amazing. Matter of fact, they were talking about coming out to the bird refuge, and I says, well, the lady that's over the charge is going to come today, so maybe we can take a look and see what we can do even out to the bird refuge. But it's going to be amazing. The only thing that we brought up is that this year 9/11 would be Peach Days. So Brigham City North will have to maybe change their day because of Peach Days. And if Monica's listening, I'm sure she'll thank us. Unless they want help cleaning up after Peach Days. Derek, do you need some help cleaning up after Peach Days? We'll have a bunch of volunteers, but there'll be more coming out for information on that. So I would just let you know. So with that, do you have anything else, Jeffrey, at all? Commissioner Hadfield, I should say.
I don't.
Okay. Emergency management issues. I don't see Corey. We thought somebody had a fire, but it was just the road crew making rocks up on the hill. So somebody called in us crushing rocks. So that's all it was. I shouldn't say that's all it is, but that's what it was. And we have had a spike in COVID cases this last week in the county. So hopefully that's working its way through us again, and everything can be back to whatever normal is anymore. So we appreciate y'all doing the things you can to keep that under wraps also. So at 5:07, we're right on time. Looks like President Rose, do you want to come up and just kind of tell us about the contract real quick, and we'll ask Steve if he's had a chance to look through it. And thanks for coming in, cleared up from Park Valley.
No problem. Oh, that's fine. Thank you.
Just put your mic up there and
I'm not sure what you want me to tell you, Stan, other than it's every 3 years on the RT contract. The first one up there, we renew with a stock contractor. We've chosen to go with Barty. They're competitive. They've done a good job and been good to work with. And so this would be the contract that I think Steve probably 10 years ago, I think you modified it so that it sounded more like a legal and binding document. And so I think that I corrected I hope it got to you that there's a place or two that we could see that needed a correction. It looks like consistently they're somewhere between 2 and 3% hike each year. And I assume that with the expenses they have, especially fuel this year and the feed and different things, it probably is justified. So do you have any questions for me, Steve?
No, I have reviewed it. I've reviewed several of them, so we're getting used to it. There was a couple of just clarifications. I think we can go ahead and approve it subject to those. They're just
Okay.
minor. Probably just sit down with Brent. We can talk those through
That'd
pretty
be fine.
quickly. But
Okay,
I just wanted to get you up here and tell you how much we appreciate you guys.
fine.
Laura was talking about volunteers, and I don't think anybody understands, what that takes to put on the rodeo that Box Elder County is lucky enough to have, and it's an amazing event, and we appreciate you guys and your committee being able to do that. So I just want to get up here and tell you thanks.
Thank you, Stan.
So, okay?
And we have
Thank you, Brent. We really appreciate you and your committee and their efforts.
thanks, Jeff. And I'm fortunate to have a good wife, but we're fortunate to have a good committee and a lot of good volunteers. And I think Laura summed it up. And
Yep.
the volunteers for what making, and we're excited for this year to come. We missed the rodeo was we were 100%, but we weren't 100% because the fair wasn't 100%. And
Yep.
so it'll feel a lot more like the fair and rodeo this year, I'm sure.
That'll be
So
awesome.
We're looking forward to it. So.
Thank you.
So the second one would be the Bronc Riding Classic, and that is contracted as a separate rodeo with PRCA, even though it's Wednesday night. It's the same. It's Golden Spike Rodeo and Barty Rodeo. But we've kind of been trying to find the ground, and it's gone up a little bit. The first year it took quite a good jump because I think that they just weren't sure. This is our third year, I think, or fourth year. And so we've just been doing it on a yearly basis. And so, this particular event has grown a lot throughout the country. When we started, it was very few. Now there's getting to be
Yeah.
more. And I think it's a good event. And once again this year, they'll have the Big Ben Flying Five as subcontractors, and they're good people. And so
Doesn't hurt to have the Wright brothers all come from Utah up here either, does it?
yeah, we'll hope that that's the way it is. We've added a little bit more money and do each year into contract, and so.
That's awesome.
so.
Okay,
On this one, Steve, anything?
yeah, just we can talk on that one
Okay.
too. But let's go ahead and
do it like we
yeah,
usually do.
approve
Okay.
it subject to form
Okay.
and.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a safe trip back.
Thanks.
You got any questions, Commissioner Hatfield?
I don't.
Let's take them one by one.
Yeah. If everything's been approved by Steve, I would make a motion we approve the 2021 Barty Rodeo contract
It's-
21-14,
Under approval, subject to approval.
Approval.
subject to approval.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And the second one?
And then I'd make a motion that 2021 Barty Bronc Riding Classic contract 21-15, pending approval.
I'll second that motion also. I've got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thanks, you guys.
You need, that first one was for 3 years. I don't know if you need that in your minute.
It'll be whatever we do. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Scott? What is that?
Public hearing at 5:15.
For which one's that one?
Road vacation, Scott Lyons.
Oh, okay.
5:15.
It's not 5:15 yet. Oh, it is 5:15.
Pretty close.
It is. I'm going to open up a public hearing on the road vacation. So we're going to get a little background from Scott, and then we'll ask if anybody has anything to say about that. We'll have them come up. Okay. Want a background on the road vacay?
Yep. Do you want that?
Yes. Thanks.
I've looked at that plenty of times.
Yes.
So this is in the historic Riverside area. So there's a Riverside plat from the 1890s, and the Riverside area was originally platted as kind of a lots and blocks type of grid system, and between each of those blocks there was an 18-foot alley. Those alleys were never developed, and most people, some of them are used by various residents, but most people's backyard essentially extend into those alleys. So we were approached by Anita Godfrey, who kind of was acting as the lead for the other landowners along her block. So this is Block 8 of the Riverside Plat. It's located between 15400 North and 15500 North. And she got signatures for the application from all the landowners who have property along this alleyway. The way state code's written, it basically would split that alley down the middle, and 9 feet would go to 9 east, 9 west would go to all the adjacent landowners. Legal descriptions were supplied by the applicants so that that property can go to them once the vacate process is concluded. With that being said, this has gone through the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission reviewed the approval standards, and they came to the conclusion that that they didn't find any issue with it. So then it comes to the County Commission for a public hearing, and the County Commission acts as the decision-making body on this. With that being said, I guess that's some background. If you have questions, I can take them now or after, or you can hear from any public that has to speak on it.
Yeah, let me just take a step back and I'll see if anybody else wants to come up. Anita, you guys don't have to come up. You can come say, I don't see anybody else and want to come talk about it. Okay. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, so. I tried to get your husband up here for some cowboy poetry, but he wouldn't do it, so. Okay, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that motion. I got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
What?
Oh, the pen died, never mind.
She scared me. She thought Jenica was going to come up and talk about it, but we're good. So we just need to make a motion now to have the road vacated, right?
Yeah, so the way the county's policy reads, this was, let's see, the road vacate, it will be ordinance number 532. The way the county's process for vacation, per their road vacate policy, it states that, let's see, at the public hearing, the county commission will receive input from the public and may approve in part, or not approve the vacation. If an approval is given, an ordinance is prepared by the planning staff and presented for consideration at the county commission's next meeting for adoption. So you would be making your motion this evening regarding ordinance 532, and then I would prepare that ordinance and bring it back to you at the next meeting for adoption.
Did you hear that, Hatfield? Commissioner Hatfield.
I didn't hear all of it.
Just basically make a motion that we are going to adopt 532, and then Scott will bring it to our next, in the meeting on the 21st.
I'd make a motion we adopt ordinance 532.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
King Trucking.
Okay,
King Trucking
is the next one.
microphone not on. Oh,
If not, Keith would be calling me, telling me to get closer to the microphone.
okay.
Okay, the King Trucking subdivision is located at 12270 North and Canal Bank Road. So this is just outside Tremonton city limits, just north of Tremonton on the Canal Bank Road. It is 2 lots. Both are 11.335 acres in size. It was one parcel. Has this would now basically split that parcel in half. It's been reviewed by all applicable departments and comes with a recommendation of approval.
You got any questions, Commissioner Hatfield? Take that as a no. I'd entertain a motion. Did we lose him?
Yeah, no, I don't have any questions. Sorry, I was on mute.
Okay.
I'd make a motion to approve King Trucking subdivision.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And we already did the road vacay, so Reese Agricultural Subdivision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see here. That one is. So this one is ordinance number 533. To reference it, it didn't make it on the agenda with an ordinance number, but it's ordinance number 533. This is located at 5912 West, 2400 North in the West Corinne area. And the applicants requested to separate a single-family dwelling parcel from the agricultural land. State code requires that it be adopted by ordinance by the legislative body. This has been through the Planning Commission on June 17th, just last month, and it meets the requirements set forth in state code, and the Planning Commission they approved it, and so now it's coming to you for final approval.
Okay. I don't have any questions. Commissioner Hatfield, entertain a motion.
I don't have any questions. I just was looking at the map. I make a motion that we approve the Reese Agriculture subdivision. What number did you say it was?
533,
533.
is that right?
Correct.
Maybe I'm not totally out there. Yeah, 533.
That's what I wrote down. Just
I
Okay.
didn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
make a motion we do that proposal on the Reese Agriculture subdivision 533.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Rock Hill Agricultural Subdivision.
Okay, this one is ordinance 534, and this one's located at 3537 West, 14100 North. This is in the Collinston area of unincorporated Box Elder County, and this one is the same situation where the landowner is looking to separate a single-family dwelling parcel from the agricultural parcel. So one parcel would be split into 2 separate parcels. That meets the requirements set forth in the county's land use code as well as in the state code. This one also went to the Planning Commission on June 17th, and it was approved at that point and requires County Commission final approval.
I don't have any questions. You got any questions? Commissioner Hatfield?
I don't. Make a motion we approve the Rock Hill Agriculture subdivision number 534.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So I have one other, I guess I should have mentioned this in the pre-meeting. This one is a previous agenda item.
Okay.
It was
Follow up on?
It was on last two weeks ago or 3 weeks ago agenda.
Okay.
It's a Rebecca Hodge subdivision.
Oh, I remember us. Okay. So make sure we put that on the minutes for Marla, so she doesn't call me later. That's a former agenda item. So she'll be able to listen to this. Okay.
It's the Rebecca Hodge subdivision. It's located at 13425 North and East Garland Road. So this is located in the East Garland area. It's a one-lot subdivision, 0.76 acres in size, and this one has been through the review by all applicable departments and comes with a recommendation of approval.
Okay. Did you hear that, Hatfield? Commissioner Hatfield?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I don't have any questions. I make a motion we approve the Rebecca Hoff subdivision.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Is there anything we need to sign? Or do you want to, what do you want to do it?
Well, I don't know. You want
Marty, I don't,
I don't know if you're capable.
are you in a test?
If you're allowed to do that, or?
I can't notarize, but I can do that.
Okay, so these can be signed, the ordinances need to be notarized, so
So we can just do it all at the same time?
whatever you want to do.
We'll just do them all at the same time, get them notarized and stuff, if that's okay?
Is Marla on Monday?
Do you want them now?
These, I'd say let's do now.
Okay.
I know they're chomping at to
Okay.
get them recorded, so. Diana's, yeah.
Diane.
If you want me to. Right here.
Thank you.
No, that was weird. I've never seen that one. That's it, right? Okay. When I said he'd be telling me, but you got that right.
Yes.
Anita, I don't know if you guys just want to hang out and listen to me talk, but you're more than welcome to stay or leave or whatever you want to do. Max, take her to Peach City on your way home or something. Okay. Thanks, you guys.
There is another process, though. We'll talk about this again on the 26th.
21st is the next one, and all we do is just approve what we just approved. So it's up to you if you want to come or not.
We'll consider it done. I'll move my fence.
Blah, blah. I didn't hear that, Max. I can't sign these until he goes over them. Sorry. Trying to get me in trouble again. Thanks, Scott. Sheriff. Yeah, come up here, Mr. Mike. How are you? I just need you both say your name and into the mic and where you're from.
Kevin Potter, the sheriff.
Mike Nelson, Brigham City PD Chief.
What we're here today to talk to you about, I kind of gave you a briefing a few months ago when Brigham was preparing their budget. Mike mentioned that they may be able to get an extra officer, and as they were deciding where to put it, it came up that a full-time corporal in the strike force, which we don't currently have a full-time supervisor there. They have a part-time lieutenant, we have a part-time sergeant, and then we all have a full-time agent, but we don't have a full-time supervisor when we all agreed that the narcotic task force needed it for a long time. And Brigham's going above and beyond because they're adding, this would be adding another full-time position. And so what they asked us in Tremont is if we would help split the cost of that. And it's the counties Tremont's going to end up doing theirs instead of money. I think they're going to try to work hours or maybe do equipment or another way to make our third. But our third would basically be a third of the wages and salary. And I think that those numbers have been turned in. I'll let Mike speak to that. But I'm all for it. I think the agreement's fair, and I think it's a good deal for the county, and it's a good deal for the strike force and the citizens. And we're getting more full-time people to work drugs and more full-time supervision for a fair price. So I think I've already told you I'm in for it, but if you guys would like to, we have a MOU we'd need to put together with legal, but I think the question for the commissioners is, are you in favor of this? You want us to go ahead and move forward and pending legal appeal?
Okay.
Answer any questions?
One of the biggest things that we really think this would be so advantageous is when the agents are working drugs, there's three of them, one from Brigham City, one from Tremont, and one from the county, and usually they kind of go in pairs, so there's always a third wheel, and a lot of times, and it's when they're doing drugs, it's always good to have a backup close by and being able to do things. Right now, one of them just kind of has to stay in the office and just type reports or whatever while the other ones are out working. And so this would give another full-time, also not only as a supervisor, but being able to have it so that they have a backup so that we have a total of 4 that can be working out. And Chris Howard, who is the assistant chief, he is the commander over the strike force, and so he oversees that. And if you have any questions, he is here. Also, and then the sergeant over with the sheriff's office, he's kind of the sergeant, but he's also the sergeant over all of his detectives in his division down there at the sheriff's office, so he can't just be full-time out in the strike force. So that's where we worked it out to try to get this extra person and have that person assigned there at the strike force.
Okay. Commissioner Hatfield, you got any questions?
No, I don't. I mean, it sounds good to me.
Mike, Chief, we appreciate you working good with the sheriff. I mean, we've got a great relationship, I think, between the county and the cities, and we appreciate everything that you do. And now that we're probably close to 60,000 residents, I think when the next census comes out, I hate to say it, that your guys' department and Steve's department are just going to continue to grow because of the things that are coming this way. I hate to say that Mayberry isn't Mayberry anymore, but we appreciate you being on top of the things, and thank you guys for coming and supporting, and anything we can do. I think I don't want to speak for the other commissioners, but we do appreciate everything that you guys do for us to let us sleep at night. So
Yeah, we do.
I'd entertain a motion, Hatfield, for a motion to support, to do the MOU and get something together.
I'd make a motion that we approve the position for the corporal for Box Elder Narcotics Strike Force.
Pending.
Yeah, we have a draft agreement, but everybody's got to see it and review it and make sure they're comfortable with it. So
Pending approval.
Pending approval. Thank you. I'll second that motion. I got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Jenica, I'm going to let Joan go. Is that okay? Is that all right? That way you guys don't have to stick around. Thanks for coming, you guys. I'm sure this stuff is riveting I'm sure you love listening to all this, but we'll get you out of here a little quicker. How's that? Okay.
So, thank you. I'm Joan Hammer. I'm the Tourism Director for Box Elder County, and I'll let Erin introduce herself here in a second. But I just wanted to bring Erin to the commission today just to kind of let you get to know her a little bit. And she's our partner with the Bear River Migratory Bird Refuge. And I think it's safe to say that we've started doing some really good work and have had a pretty productive COVID season. So I'm just going to turn the time over to Erin.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Joan, and thank you guys for giving me the opportunity. It's good to see you
Good to see you again.
So as Joan mentioned, my name is Erin Holmes, and I'm the project leader or refuge manager for the Bear River Migratory Bird Refuge, which I'm sure you guys all know. And also I want to just point out that we're also the headquarters for Fish Springs National Wildlife Refuge in West Utah, near Dugway, and the Bear River Watershed Conservation Area, which spans 1 million acres in 3 states. So lots going on. So now that we're kind of coming out of the pandemic, I'm super excited to begin building those community partnerships and engagement, because that's something that's really important to me. This land is the American public land, and I want to make sure that we honor that and we work with all users so it's accessible to them. And speaking of partnerships, I do want to give a shout out, yes, she's still back there, to Sheriff Potter and Chief Nelson. We have had some significant law enforcement issues on the refuge lately with trespassing, vandalism, poaching, and all of that. We are down an officer who has to cover those 3 areas. And so I really appreciate the partnership of Sheriff Potter and his team and Chief Nelson and his team to help us kind of manage all of that. So thank you. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we are hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to open our visitor center. Yes, big fingers crossed. We do have a table right now that we're able to have volunteer staff outside the building, and that is going on. But we want to open up the whole building. And so, as you can imagine, there's a lot of paperwork, but hopefully we'll get that done. I wanted it to happen on Pioneer Day. I'm not sure if I'll get my wish, but it will be soon thereafter. And we look forward to welcoming the community and visitors from all over again when that happens. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is that we are, kind of speaking of community partnerships and engagement, one of the things that we're really excited about is we are constructing what's called a nature play area. And it's right next to our building. It's less than an acre, but it's a stepping stone of engagement to get young children and their parents comfortable with being outside. And I know it's hard to imagine any of us not being comfortable outside. I grew up camping and all of that. But with 80% of the American population now living in urban areas, the number of children that are not having the opportunity to go camping, to look at the stars and climb trees, is decreasing. And so we want to provide a structured play area it's not a park, it's a structured play area for these kids to get comfortable and their parents, and then maybe they'll go a little further. Maybe they'll learn how to hunt and further, and eventually, hopefully, be a leader or a supporter of conservation. So that's what we got. Yeah.
Well, and then we had the opportunity to come down and put the Bishop Bay Trail on your, hopefully in 2022. I'm sorry I have to put a plug in for that. It'll start just outside of that and hopefully end up going all the way down to the Willard Bay and around Willard Bay. And so it'll be a big thing for Box Elder County. So.
Yeah, definitely. And when we have the nature play area built, you could have a commissioners meeting there.
There you go. And we'll do that.
Okay.
And we appreciate you coming. And hopefully, we're going to keep fingers crossed again.
Yeah.
You're here for more than a couple of years.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, great.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
All right, Janica, now you can, sorry. I could tell Joan wanted to get home, cook Nate some supper or something.
Just cooking me supper.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I'll be here regardless, so. All right.
Kind of figured that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
you can come sit up here, pull the chair, or there is a chair right there. Come on, Annie.
All right. So the first thing I have is Resolution 21-04 on employment reference verifications. So this just tells us basically what my office can give out, and then also basically assigns that it's our job to do due diligence when verifying employment information. on potential candidates. So kind of goes both ways. If you
Okay.
want to know the Utah code that it references, it's section 3442.1, and that's
Okay.
kind of why we have it up.
Have you got any questions, Commissioner Hatfield? Your
I
mic's-
don't.
I was going to say your mic's on mute again, buddy.
Nope, I took it off.
Okay.
I'd make a motion to approve Resolution 21-04.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
The next agenda item I have is policy 24, and there are quite a few changes on this one, so you have to bear with me. We're going to go through them one by one.
Do we have to approve them one by one?
It would be helpful for me if you could,
Okay.
just because there are multiple departments that are affected. So
Keeping track, Hatfield?
Am I supposed to do them one by one?
Yep. Sounds like it. Steve, yes, no?
Yes.
Or is it just policy
Absolutely.
24?
one by one. Okay. So the first one is 24.1.3. We just made an edit. So previously, this policy stated that this policy superseded and replaced all other county policies. Working with legal, we've decided that because the policy was already in place, we don't necessarily need to have that clause anymore. So that section is being removed, and that was 24.1.3B is
B?
being removed. The next one is 24.1.5, and this particular one is section A, number 4. We propose that we add to the county employees who are able to take vehicles home, building inspectors and facility maintenance technician, specifically by job title.
Okay.
So that was 24.1.5A4. 24.1.5A5 is a new section that we're proposing, and it reads, road department employees working in the mechanic shop who are paid a tool allowance will have the ability as needed to take the assigned county-owned service vehicle to their personal property to utilize personally owned tools with supervisor approval. So again, that new section is 24.1.5A5.
Okay.
The last one is a new section also, so it's 24.1.5B3 Statement C, and it's new. It reads, Box Elder County employees' use of the cabins out west as authorized by the county sheriff as a benefit to the county.
Okay.
So those are the changes proposed to that policy.
Commissioner Hatfield, you got any questions on any of those?
I don't. I tried to write them down as good as I could here, so hopefully I get them right.
Well, if not, Jenica's right here to
Yep.
help.
Okay.
Hey, Hatfield, the only other thing that I was going to ask about the supervisor approval, does the supervisor approval go towards all three of those? 1, 2, and 3? You were talking about just supervisor approval on number 2. So,
Supervisor approval specifically applies to the road department mechanics right now. That's anyone who has a tool allowance, who has a service truck,
okay.
would be allowed to take that home with supervisor approval.
And the thing that makes me nervous about that is that if we go back to what the legislation deemed, that if for some reason somebody had a problem with that, then the person that authorized that would actually be charged. So are the supervisors okay with having that?
I think as long as it's clear what they're authorizing, what they're approving, and we can add some more language to that. Basically, they're approving that they're, if I understand right, speak if I'm overstating, but they're basically approving to take the tools home for personal use at home of their own personal tools.
Right.
And if that's what's in there and that's what's being approved, if somebody were to use it for something more than that, that wasn't approved because they're approving what this calls for.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I just, like I said, I was just wondering if the supervisors were okay if something happened.
So, I mean, if you think so, if you think we needed to, we could put something in there. I don't have your version in front of me, but something about as needed for the sole purpose of allowing them to access and use their personal tools, something like that.
Yeah, because all it reads now is ability as needed to take the assigned county-owned service vehicle to their personal property to utilize personally owned tools with supervisor approval.
So maybe you put for the sole purpose, right after that, for the sole purpose of allowing them to access and use their personal tools.
I just know that they had some problems down south in other counties with this specific.
Just needs to be clear that they're only using they're not taking the vehicle home so they can go out camping with it or anything like that.
And the supervisor,
So they can use their.
and honestly, I think that it should say, and the supervisor okay with that, having that,
Say that again.
that the supervisors are okay knowing that they are going to be held accountable for that. That's
Okay.
what makes me nervous.
So,
Because we went through this, I'm Tom, I know, sitting on the back row, and we went through this 2 years ago, Tom, with Dougal, when we,
So I think your point, I mean, so the reason the supervisors would get in trouble is if they are authorizing personal use outside of this policy.
right.
Then the supervisor's in trouble, but if the supervisor is authorizing personal use in accordance with the policy, there's.
they're fine. Right.
Right.
Okay. And I just want to make sure, because like I said, I don't want to see anybody having problems. Okay.
So would you prefer that we bring this back, or do you want us to do it
I
subject?
think subject to that change,
Okay.
honestly. Do you have anything else, Hatfield?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't.
No, so you just want it worded so that pending approval of supervisor liability, or?
I guess you could just say pending addition of what we talked about tonight.
Right. Yeah, just
So we make
pending
sure
the
we get the
addition
language
of
right.
what Steve and Jenica just talked about tonight.
Then it doesn't have to come back
Okay.
again.
Okay. All right, so we'll take number 1.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve 24.1.3, is it D?
B as in boy,
The
right?
removal of B.
B?
The removal of
Okay.
B, yeah. Okay, I second that. I've got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Number 2,
Okay, and then I make a motion, we approve 24.1.5A,
And that's A
Pending.
number 4.
A number 4. And there's
A, number 4, sorry.
Yep.
That one was fine.
That one's fine. Okay. I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I'd make a motion, we approve 24.1.5A5. Is that correct?
Yeah, pending. This one.
Pending what Jenica and Steve had talked about.
Okay, I second that motion. I got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Last but least,
And then I'd make a motion that we approve 24.1.5B3,
Adding section C. Yes.
adding section C.
adding sections. Okay.
I'll second that motion. I got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
One more.
I feel like I was playing Battleship.
I know.
Sorry.
You just
We
sunk
need to
my
work on our
battleship.
numbers. All right, so the last policy I have is policy 15, and we just needed to update this to include the fleet telematics system. So this includes an entire new section under 1520.
You got that, Hat?
I couldn't hear.
It's just the next one on the agenda, policy 15
Yeah.
update. Just approve the update.
Okay. I make a motion we approve the update on policy 15.
Second, I got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can stay here, man. Your attorney's office, you're, no?
We can get another nameplate up here if you
Yeah, I was just going to say, we can swap that pretty quick. Okay. Mr. Hatfield,
Which one
you're
are we
up
on?
next. I think, unless I missed something. Resolution 2003, approved update fees for charges, Box Elder County.
Yes, this is a resolution. What happens is, as we prosecute cases, people come in and need to have access to their police reports and dash cam videos and those kinds of things so they can get ready and decide what they want to do with it. That's a cost to the county, it's a cost to the taxpayers. So what we're asking for is a resolution that we can get reimbursed for those. We do have one in place now, but the costs have gone up, so it's just an increased cost. So it allows us to recoup those costs so the taxpayers aren't paying those just straight. The people that can afford them are paying. This doesn't apply to indigent
Right.
defendants. So that's
Entertain a motion on that, unless you got any questions.
I'd make a motion we approve Resolution 21-03.
Okay, I'll second that. I've got a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the road department's not auditor's office. We're up to Tom. I think we're getting back on schedule.
So the road department won't get taken off the agenda?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's the fun time of year where essentially assessed are filing appeals with the tax commission. So I have a resolution, 2105. It's a resolution of the Box Elder County Commissioners approving the filing of cross appeals to 2021 appeals filed by taxpayers subject to central assessment. So currently, this resolution will handle the appeals by Pacific Corp and CenturyLink. It also puts in here, hey, if there are other appeals that come up that
Thank you. That's what I was just going to ask you.
we go through with, so Tom Peters is our attorney that we have used. But so anyway, there's a section here that says, hey, if there are appeals that come up, and he contacts and talks with us to see if we want to file a cross appeal. We give him approval to go ahead and do it, but then to bring it back to the commission to add them to the list. So
Okay.
any questions, concerns about it? It's
Well, we actually got some good news on one.
do it
which
every year.
Only took us how many years to get the one?
Yeah.
So it'd be amazing if they don't do something else with that one. So have you got any questions, Hatfield?
No, I don't. I'll make a motion we approve Resolution 21-05, authorizing the filing of cross appeals.
I'll second that motion. I got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I think it needs your
Okay.
signature, Stan, and it's going to need an attest from Jesse.
Animal Control Services Contract 21-13. This is something that we do every year with Brigham City and Tremont, or is it just, which one is it? Both? Okay. Have you got any questions on that one, Hatfield?
No, I don't. It sounds like it's the same as what we've had in the past.
Yep.
So I'd make a motion we approve the Animal Control Service Contract 21-13.
I'll second that motion. I got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Hey, we're up again. I guess me. We have the opportunity to put in for CBD monies for local broadband services. So this will actually authorize us to continue with what they call the Bothwell Broadband Grant. That will take what we did last year from I-84, high-speed internet, down in towards the Bothwell pocket. So, and it will start from there. And then the state grant actually opened up today that we'll be able to put in some of the state monies to be able to continue the build out through Bothwell, Thatcher, hopefully West Corinne, Bear City, Elwood, that west part of that. So we'll continue to work on that. So I just need a motion to approve me signing that contract.
I'd make a motion to approve the Bothwell Broadband Grant contract.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Oh, okay. Another one for us. Since we lost Brock in our GIS department, Weber County has been working with Box Elder County to be able to find some monuments that straddle both Box Elder County and Weber County. We are going to authorize Weber County to finish up that work and then authorize us to pay whatever, not whatever, but it's like $200 or $300 towards that process, then we can get that done. So was that,
It is the part that I'm still struggling. I've talked with a couple different people about this. Weber County apparently wants us to sign a liability release, but I've asked what sort of liability are we releasing, and nobody can answer that question for me. So that's going to need to be clarified. I don't know if it's a release for them to go on Box Elder County property.
I think
If it's a
so.
release, if they're wrong, we're going to be responsible for it. I don't want to do that.
Okay, so that's the reason
So-
we're doing it. I don't know if you know that, but Weber County actually did this the last time, and then they found out that was wrong. So, and Brock was up working with them to make sure it was right this time. So I think they're wanting to be released from mistake number 2.
I just need to know that because they keep saying, we just need a letter releasing us from liability, and I don't know what that needs to say. I've asked a couple people to get me that and haven't seen anything yet, so.
So Hatfield, I think I'd make a motion pending the okay from Steve on that contract of the releasing of the liability, because
Yeah.
my
If
understanding.
we have,
what
if we have liability, I'll make a motion to approve the monument placement between Box Elder and Weber County pending the approval of Steve on the liability issue.
Is that okay? And I'll second that motion. I got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I didn't know where I was supposed to sign that.
She says top line.
Where?
Right here? No, that's where you top left. No, no. What does it say?
Just a sec, Hatfield. Left-hand side on the top.
Doesn't say.
Okay. Hey, another one for us. Hatfield, this is the one we were talking about with Grass Creek Pipeline, with the chlorinator project from the CBDG. We just need another approval to have me sign that grant process so they can get the chlorinated project out to Grass Creek.
Okay. It's through the CDBG?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion we approve the authorization for signatures on the Grouse Creek Pipeline chlorinator project.
I'll second that motion. I got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Hatfield, you got a bunch of stuff to sign. I'm just warning you. Bring a good pen.
Yeah, I'll come in and sign my life away with Marla either tomorrow or Friday.
Well, Marla won't be here till Monday, so you're gonna have to put up with Jesse, so.
Oh, then I've got till Monday to come in and sign it, huh? I'm just kidding. I'll be in the next couple days.
Okay. I'm just signing whatever else I need to sign, Hatfield, and then make a motion to go into a closed session pending personnel and possible land acquisition.
Just personnel, isn't it? Oh, okay.
Personnel and land acquisition, Hatfield.
Okay. I make a motion we go into a closed session for personnel and land acquisition.
I'll second that motion. Got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner, I almost said Commissioner Scott. Summers, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I can't believe I didn't mess up through that whole thing.
How do you know you didn't?
I had to spit my gum out.